Hello again, my wild ones. This is Cypris, and this is another installment of Tea with Cypris. Why don't you go ahead and get your beverage, have yourself a cup of tea, and we'll wait here for you. All right, all set? Fantastic. So come in, sit down, join my circle, and we are going to talk today about what is the New Age movement. Yeah, the New Age movement. This is a term that I want to talk about because I have found that people don't all see that language in the same way. And this was very surprising to me. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, just go to, don't do it right now, but go to the YouTube search bar and type in, what is New Age? And pretty much everything that comes up is stuff about how dangerous the New Age is, how it's cultish, how there's this unified, sneaky plot to destroy people, and that it's demonic, and that it's perversely adverse to Christianity, and it's a lot. You would think that it was some kind of organized cult, but nothing could be further from reality, and I don't know why these individuals are posting such slanderous material. I think some of them are just trying to get views, and I think some of them are, unfortunately, have met with negative experiences that they then assume translates into the whole. I, for the purposes of this discussion, did two searches. I did one in YouTube and I did one on Google. And the one on YouTube, when I typed in, what is New Age, ? I got the first three. The first three were hate videos. And then there were two music videos, like New Age music, like meditation music type stuff. And then there were 4 more negatives. I'm not even going to list titles because they're just incendiary. And then the 10th was actually... The 10th listing, way at the bottom of the page, was the first one that was actually explaining what New Age stuff is. And I'm just surprised that this isn't just a commonly known thing, but apparently it's not. And a lot of people hear the term New Age and they think satanic cults and stuff like that, and that's actually offshoot Christianity, FYI. Satan stuff is Christian. So, but I also went to Google and did it, did the search, typed in what is New Age, and Google had a much better response. Everything on the first page, all of the first feed was definitions of New Age, and the very first one, this one is worth mentioning, because Dictionary.com was the top hit. And Dictionary.com defines the New Age movement as a broad movement. A broad movement characterized by alternative approaches to traditional Western culture, with an interest in spirituality, mysticism, holism, and environmentalism. And that's it. That is what the New Age movement is. It's just a trend in our culture of lots and lots of people looking for new answers to old questions. That is fundamentally it. And that is why the New Age movement is so hard to pin down, because you can't pin it down. It's not an organization. It's not even a group of like-minded people. There's nothing cohesive about the New Age movement, other than the fact that there are a lot of people looking for positive change, looking for alternative ways, better solutions, ways to do things. I would add to the definition, however, that a lot of people who identify with the New Age movement or who are participating in this movement have loosely a common goal or vision of a new age of peace and enlightenment. That there's this sort of forward look toward, dare we look for world peace? Dare we work toward that? Dare we work toward educating more people on our planet? That sort of thing. So it's really, really hard to say that the New Age movement is good, is bad. It's just this thing, this push toward new ways of doing things better. You can't really pigeonhole it as an entity because it's not an entity. Why are posters on YouTube so violent about defining the New Age? I really haven't got a clue. Maybe some of you are wiser than I am about that. I don't know what has gotten up their shorts, but I think some of them have had experiences with people who identify as being part of the New Age movement, and they're crazy. And so they take that experience and just assume it applies to the whole, but it's not. I mean, these are fringe groups that they're interacting with, and every culture, every organized religion, every big entity has fringe groups. Hi, are you gonna stand on my notes? And these are the groups that give the movement in general a bad name, right? We've got people who spend enormous amounts of time and effort trying to prove that aliens have infiltrated the planet and that our government is being run by reptilians, right? I think that's the term for it. That is actually a fringe group or a set of fringe groups. There's always going to be the small, weird cults that insist that their members overinvest and do weird stuff. But that's anything. The New Age, per se, is this umbrella that is so wide that it's going to catch all those crazy offshoot things, because that's how it is. The thing about here's my experience in participating in events that sort of market to this New Age tendency. One thing that I have learned through my experiences at fairs and events and trainings and different things, light workers attract energy vampires. It's just a universal law. And so if you've got people gathered together who can help people's souls, help whether they're extremely empathic or psychic or whatever the case may be, you attract lots and lots and lots of people who want to feed off of that and who are needy and who are not going to take the help constructively. And then you also get people who want to take advantage and who are takers, but they try to establish themselves as healers. It's really predatory kind of a thing. And you're going to get that in any situation. Look at all the people in hospitals who end up there because they like to be taken care of, not so much because they're sick, right? I think we've all heard stories about people who are chronically ill to get the attention and the care from the doctors. So it's a universal human trait. Some people just just aren't right. And when you get people together who are trying to help, for lack of a better word, you're going to attract some crazies too. But most of the needy people are just needy people, and very few of them are actually actively predatory and sneaky. To give it some perspective, we can look at Christianity, right? That's a very common faith system in the U.S., and it's often considered the standard, without getting into people's views on the separation of church and state. A lot of people consider the U.S. a Christian nation. It's not quite as broad of a net as, say, a New Age movement, but Christianity attracts its crazies too. There's fringe Christian groups, right? The polygamist sects that have arranged marriages with child brides against their will. Some groups who kidnap girls, they claim to be Christian, right? Do we lump all of Christianity in with that behavior? There's people who pick up venomous snakes as part of their faith. Not really very kind to the snakes, but that's how they express their faith. And some extreme Christian groups insist that women must only wear skirts. Or even more ridiculous, that women cannot be part of the priesthood. Like, talk about crazy, right? They've got more than half of their membership relegated to the peasantry of their social system. So, and I don't want to, like, offend anybody. I don't want to pick on anybody's beliefs. I think these are pretty fringe perspectives. My beef is when your religious beliefs are hurting other people. And yes, I count holding women back from the roles that they're born to hold as cruel. That's my perspective. Anyway, and I guess you could almost say that the snake holders aren't hurting anybody, but they are getting bit and being hospitalized, and like I said, animal cruelty kind of bothers me. But these are Christian groups. Do we lump that all in with all of Christianity? No. It doesn't make any sense. Nor does it make sense to take some crazy guy who claims to have 25% alien DNA and assume that he is the voice of the New Age movement. The New Age movement is so broad, and it's not something that people even define themselves as being a part of most of the time. It's not a group, it's a trend. Lots and lots of things actually could and do count as being part of the New Age movement. So the push for organic food, healthier, non-chemical infested food, that is part of the New Age movement. It's looking for alternative solutions to traditional Western methods. The recycling push. The trend, forest bathing, getting out into the woods to reconnect with nature as a emotional, psychological, and physical health benefit. That counts as part of the New Age movement. Yoga, acupuncture, holistic medicine in general, alternative medicine, the embracing of Eastern medicine and Eastern philosophy and Eastern religious thoughts. This is all part of that trend. The willingness an ability to celebrate LGBTQ rights and identities. That's something that falls under the umbrella too. Meditation. So, if we look at specific groups, we might say Wicca is part of the New Age movement. And I would say that's probably dead on. But also, the Christian church that goes out to Pride celebration every year and picks up posters that have messages of support for the LGBTQ community, that's part of the New Age too. You don't have to be anything in particular to participate in the New Age movement. It's not an organized thing, and I keep saying that. But what I'm responding to is all of the confusion out there that the New Age movement is some subversive, dark, satanic church that is out to indoctrinate by guile. I don't know who y'all been hanging out with, but that is not the case. I have been looking at a lot of things that fall into the New Age category for years now, and I really haven't seen it. I've seen a lot of needy people, and I've seen a lot of people who are really, really fascinated with alien theories, but only once have I ever run into somebody who actually claimed to have alien DNA. And that's one person out of thousands and thousands and thousands of people who are actively engaged with metaphysical things. So, like I said, I don't know who you're hanging out with, but dang. So, here's the thing. Any action that is looking for peaceful, uplifting alternatives to traditional thoughts and habits, that basically falls under the term New Age. It's that loose. It's that amorphous and that inclusive. It's not scary. It's not demonic. Specifically, it's not a cult. It's far too broad. There are some destructive or unstable people who claim to be a part of the New Age movement. So what? That is happening in every walk of humanity. It just doesn't hold water. So when I talk about my channel being an exploration of the New Age, it's not really about any one specific focus. It's certainly not about any kind of belief system. Although discussing things that I believe will end up coming out through the course of conversation, I'm just exploring what the best, most edifying, most peaceful, loving, and empowering path is in life. That's it. And that's all it needs to be. Right? Let's let go of old things that don't work. Let's embrace new things that work better. We're not going to get it right every time, but we're trying. And if we get a little bit more relaxed about what people think and what the right way is, and let people find their own paths rather than dictating a specific path that's supposed to fit everybody, so much the better. Because the world and people are very complex, and I think rigid and narrow rules just, they don't work, and too many people fall through the cracks. So, thank you for joining me for this discussion. It's something that's been bothering me for a while, and I wanted to say something about it. I hope that this has been interesting, engaging. What do you think? Why are people so confused about the term the New Age or the New Age movement? Why does that so easily get aligned with all of our worst fears about the occult? I don't know. I'm not sure what that is. I didn't actually grow up with any particular bias about it, so I don't even know where that's coming from. So, I don't know. But I'm really happy that you joined me today. Thanks for sharing a beverage with me, and let's keep moving forward, keep finding new ways to do things, and do me a favor, keep it wild.